Hello there, welcome back to the OCD Illustrated channel. My name, as always, is Katie, and I live with OCD. This is a sample hierarchy video in which I will list some different things that might go on a hierarchy for a particular obsession. Remember that the obsession is the thought, urge, or image that pops into somebody with OCD's head and causes a lot of distress. And the obsession I'm using for this hierarchy is the thought, what if I make a bad choice? So all obsessions come with compulsions, and these are mental or physical acts that somebody with OCD uses to temporarily get rid of the OCD distress. And real quick, I'm going to give you examples of some compulsions that go with this particular obsession. One compulsion for somebody that has fears about making right and wrong choices is that it takes a really long time to evaluate options. The person will go back and forth about which option is best, and think about the pros and cons of each different one and get all tangled up in what they should do. They might seek opinions from many other people or ask other people to make the decision for them. After they make a choice, this person is probably going to engage in a lot of mental review, so going back and thinking about their choice and whether or not it was actually the best choice, and then possibly seek reassurance from other people about the choice that they made. So maybe going up to a trusted friend and saying, hey, I did this, do you think this was right? Should I have done something else? To try to get the other person to say, yeah, you made a good choice, you don't need to worry about it. And so finally, this person might avoid making choices. That might entail avoiding going shopping because they have to choose between different items to buy, or avoiding eating different foods each day because that involves a choice. And you kind of get the picture there. So I've pulled up my list of the steps to making a hierarchy. The first is to pick an obsession, which I have done, which is what if I make a bad choice. Second step is to list actions that would trigger the obsession. Third step is to organize the actions by how uncomfortable you think you will be based on a SUD scale. And the fourth step is to identify your working zone and start doing exposure and response prevention. In the rest of this video, I'm just going to focus on step 2, the listing the actions that would trigger the obsession. And then if this is an obsession that applies to you, you could take these actions and organize them into your own hierarchy, but I don't want to presume to know which things would be more or less triggering for different people. And I also pulled up my step 2 tips from my other video. These are some things to help you think of what can go on your hierarchy. Remember that you can think of times and places that you do compulsions, things that you avoid. Once you identify a task, you can modify it to make it easier and harder. You want to think of things to write and say that trigger your OCD. Remember, that's called scripting. And you want to include some overcorrection exposures. See if you can find any of these in the actions that I will list next. All right, I've got a blank piece of paper, and I'm going to zoom in because otherwise you're not going to be able to read what I write. So now I'm going to list some items that could go on a hierarchy. The person could set a timer for making choices. So say if they only have 30 seconds to make a choice, it would prevent them from going into a long, drawn-out internal debate over what to do. And this might fall more into the ritual prevention category than the exposure category, but I'm still listing it. The person could ask for someone's opinion about a decision that they're making and then do the opposite of what the person says. So if this was my obsession and I asked somebody, do you think I should get the turkey club or the, I don't know, pepperoni pizza, and my friend said you should get the pepperoni pizza, then I would go up and order the turkey club. If one of my compulsions, or if one of this person's compulsion was to order the same food at the same restaurant every time they go so they don't have to make a choice, they could go to a different restaurant and order different foods. And to make that harder, if it's hard to make a choice for yourself, it's probably going to be even harder to make a choice for somebody else. So the person with this obsession, after they've mastered ordering food for themselves at restaurants, might talk with somebody first, somebody that they trust, and go out with a friend, and if the friend gave them permission, order a meal for the friend, and have to make that decision for somebody else and then not get reassurance about whether or not it was a good choice. The person could write a paragraph about, quotes, I made the wrong choice, which is an example of scripting. They can use kind of a modified version of scripting, and when they start having that obsession of maybe I made the wrong choice, maybe I made the wrong choice, they can mentally respond with, yeah, maybe I did make the wrong choice, so what? The person could train the trusted people that they usually go to for reassurance to respond to reassurance questions with statements like, maybe you did make the wrong choice, and I don't know, or maybe yes, maybe no, or asked and answered. Which is really about blocking the act of reassurance seeking. So ideally, the person with OCD is not going to ask for reassurance. And if they do, it is best if the person being asked replies with something that doesn't provide any reassurance. The person might go shopping with a shopping list so that all they have to choose is which version of particular items they want to buy. Or they could try going shopping without a shopping list so that not only do they have to choose, so that they have to choose what things they want to buy and which versions of those things. So remember that this was listing the actions that would trigger obsessions. The next steps in making a hierarchy would be reorganizing these from items that would cause the least distress to items that would cause the most distress. And then you would find your working zone and start working on those. So I hope that that was helpful. Thank you for watching, and I hope you join me for future videos.